I know you self-inject. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, this is not.
B12 probably hurts worse.
No.
I've had a shot of B12. That shit sucks.
I inject B12 every week.
She does her own. Yeah.
It's like syrup. I'm like, oh my god.
I inject like
Ouch.
every week, and besides like getting infusions and stuff. Like.
What's an infusion?
Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Elaine, and I'm living with autoimmune disease. Today, I want to share with you the story of my courage tattoo. I don't know if you all have noticed, but I do have a tattoo on my left forearm. I had to think about that. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes the right and the left kind of get me confused, but it is on my left. On my left forearm, I have the word courage. I am a person that in college thought they wanted a tattoo, but I also knew that I may outgrow wanting that tattoo. So I decided that I would hold off on getting a tattoo until I was 30 years old. And I knew that if I still wanted it at 30, then I probably really wanted a tattoo and it really just wasn't a phase. Unfortunately, my 30th year of life brought some physical challenges and autoimmune disease with it. That was the year that I was very sick before my official diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis when I was 31. So getting a tattoo for my 30th birthday wasn't really on my radar because I woke up with a backache on my 30th birthday and things kind of changed. When I was finally diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis at the age of 31, my first rheumatologist told me that tattoos were out of the question. It would never be on the table for me and it would not be safe. I was kind of disappointed because I had waited so long for it to happen, and now looking back, I'm kind of glad I didn't because I wanted a butterfly on my foot. That really didn't have any significance to me other than I like butterflies and I wear flip-flops all the time. When I changed rheumatologist, I held off on the conversation about getting a tattoo because I was so afraid that this rheumatologist, the new one, the second opinion, would tell me that it was out of the question because I already knew how the first rheumatologist felt. As I started to have a relationship with the rheumatologist, the new one, and he started to know more about me and I started to know his personality, I knew I could approach him with pretty much any question. The rheumatologist told me he wasn't against tattoos, that wasn't it, but I wasn't in a medical spot to get a tattoo at that point. I asked him if we could please revisit the subject and talk about it again in the future because it had now became a goal, a bucket list adventure of mine to get a tattoo in Vegas. So the year 2019 rolls around and I decide to have that conversation again with my rheumatologist. It was going to be my 42nd birthday and I was going to Vegas to celebrate that September. I seemed to be in a better spot. The only problem I didn't know if it would play into it is I had now had a scleroderma diagnosis that I didn't have before. And I knew that affected the skin. So I needed to approach the subject in a good way with an open mind, knowing that it might be out of the question. And to my surprise, he okayed it. I had not been in a well enough spot to do it before then, but he felt comfortable with what I was taking at that time, which was Rituxan and Celsep. It was right before my Rituxan infusion, so I was kind of wearing off the Rituxan, so the tattoo should be safe to get. The only disclaimer that he gave me was I was not to get colored ink. Why? I didn't know this. He told me that colored ink invokes immune response, so I could only get black ink, which is fine because at this point I knew what I wanted to do. All right, I have the go-ahead to get the tattoo from my rheumatologist. I researched places in Vegas. It was a little more pricey, but all the Yelp reviews of the place I went to said they were extremely clean. I knew with my immune suppressed state that I needed to be in a very clean environment. I explained to the tattoo artist that I was immune compromised and why exactly I was getting the tattoo. I'm an infusion patient. I stare at my arms often why they have IVs in them. I lose a lot of courage sometimes. I am not a person that always has courage. And what better than to have the word courage on my arm where I get IVs or I get my blood drawn. It's a reminder to myself, which is why it faces me so I can read the word courage when I need it. I guess like Dumbo has his feather, I have a courage tattoo. The tattoo is extra special because it isn't just the word courage in a cursive font. The cursive font is actually my mom's handwriting. So my mom had written the word courage for me and I tattooed her writing. My mom has always been an advocate for me. I was ill as a child. I had my first chronic illness at the age of 20, and my mom fought to get me proper care and just to keep me going. Who better to remind me to have courage every day than my mother? Now, did it hurt? Let me tell you. I think that we endure so much pain as chronic illness patients that something that is painful but we have a reward for it is really not painful. And honestly, it didn't really hurt that bad. I compared it to getting Humira. Now, new Humira users will not understand, but in the before times, before they reworked the Humira injection, before the citrate-free or whatever it's called, Humira was probably the most painful biologic to inject, and I had to inject Humira, and it was extremely painful, and I would grin and bear it and pray the shot would be over. So my pain scale is always, does it hurt as much as Humira? The tattoo did not hurt as much as Humira. You have noticed my tattoo on my forearm, wondered what it was, wondered what the story is. This is it. It's the word courage, my mom's handwriting, and it's because I always need a little courage going through my medical stuff. And I'm happy I waited, because I don't think a butterfly on my foot would have given me as much joy as seeing my mom's handwriting every day. I'm curious, do you all have a chronic illness tattoo or something chronic illness that you wear that gives you a little bit of courage or an extra oomph? A piece of jewelry, something like that? Let me know down below. Leave me a comment. I'm curious to see how many of us carry a little something to keep us going. It's funny because I debated whether telling you all, because it's not really for anybody else, it's really for me, but I thought it'd be fun to share with you all. If you like the story time and the story, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to come along on my adventure, I would love to have you. The more friends, the more better. My adventure is sometimes fun, it is sometimes medical, it's always an adventure. And right now we are in the midst of Vlogtober, so I am trying to upload every day for the month of October. I'd love to have you, so hit the subscribe button. And until my next adventure, go have yours.